In a world crying out for a top 10 show, John Roca and Matt Nost are here. So grab your assigned seat, sit back, and enjoy this week's Top 10. Brought to you by the Schmoes Know Network. Take it away, boys.
Welcome, everybody, to this week's Thunderdome. I'm John Roca.
I'm Matt Nost.
This is the Top 10 show, and the Top 10 podcast, sorry. And this was an interesting decision. Like, this week was a fun one to go back and forth. Because did you have a choice? Like, usually we have a one we really want to do.
Well, just in that I figured Back to the Future was going to win, I was pulling for Ferris Bueller.
Yeah, I was going back and forth.
I love both movies. It's not like it's not me making a choice. It's just like because there was like a Back to the Future Love Fest. What was it, like a year ago? Because the timer on the car lined up with the date it was. Was it a year ago or 6 months ago? I don't remember.
Sure.
It was April. It's April in the movie, isn't it?
So probably a year ago, yeah.
We're going to get yelled at for not knowing the date that's on the...
I don't give a fuck anymore getting yelled at by anybody about anything, man. Fuck you. We don't have all the dates. We don't have everything squared away. I've seen a million motherfucking movies. I'm doing the best I can to remember everything, so...
Yeah, but this one I've seen so many times.
Yeah.
And not just because like it got bought by TBS and TNT and everybody else, and it's had its run. It's an enjoyable movie top to bottom.
Is. Yeah.
So I've watched it now looking back, like, oh, here's all the little gems that they put in there that I didn't notice the first literally 35 times I saw this because I was between the ages of whatever and whatever.
Yeah.
Because it just played. Like, this is one of the movies, another weird one from my childhood. I saw Dirty Dancing a lot for some reason.
What?
A lot.
I've seen that thing once.
Oh, dude, I think I've seen that like 18 times.
Wow.
Just because it was on so much where I lived. I don't know why. Maybe just the cable. They had rights in my area, and they had something different in somebody else's area. I have no fucking clue. But I have seen that movie an absurd number of times for something that doesn't really speak to me all that much.
Yeah.
But I know it backwards and forwards.
Nobody puts Matt in a corner.
No, that's not. That and like some of my sister's favorite, Shag. Do you ever see that?
Oh, Shag. The one with Phoebe Cates. I remember that.
Yeah. It's Phoebe Cates and the girl that she was in randomly like Salt Lake City Punk. But she also had a TV career, but she was in movies a ton. I can't remember. It's one of those, her. Why didn't she break bigger?
Right.
I've seen that movie, I don't know, 12 times.
Fascinating.
13 times. What you have when your little sister, it's her choice.
Yeah.
To pick a movie.
Nothing you do.
Shag again? Again. They go to the coast. I get it. I fucking get it. They're having fun.
Meanwhile, you'll watch Major League like 40 times.
Well,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
but I think my sister now would agree with me.
Oh, okay. Good.
I think she would more lean Major League now as an adult.
Good.
Knowing her. Yeah, it's a better movie. Shag's not bad.
Some people have a...
It's not. I've seen it enough times to where it has a spot in my heart because I saw it at a certain age.
Some people love that Girls Just Want to Have Fun movie. The Sarah Jessica Parker movie. I think that's Sarah Jessica Parker in that movie. People love that damn movie, man. Some women love that damn movie. Yeah. It's so strange. But then we're dudes. We have our things that we love.
There's all kinds of things that are completely indefensible.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah. Like, just abject love for violence for no other reason than it's just sheer violence.
People love Predator so much, man.
Although the Rambo, where he goes back and he tried to make the first like gritty, real Rambo in 2008 or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Just straight Rambo, or John Rambo or something.
It was just called Rambo.
Or Rambo, yeah. Where he's literally cutting dudes in half at the knee. Like
insane.
Fucking hundreds upon hundreds. Yeah. I love that movie just because it's so obscene.
It's so insane.
It makes no sense. It's great.
With a 50 cal, exploding bodies all over
oh my God.
The country that he's in.
I don't know what rounds they have there, but it's impressive.
It really is.
I can't imagine that standard issue. That's some hollow point, something specific.
It's not standard
They look like bunker busters because they just blow people up.
Really was. Yeah, but like to me, I was going back and forth between them both because I love them both for different reasons. You know, Ferris Bueller is a high school movie for me, whereas Back to the Future was the first glimpse to something more, like something else. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the idea, it's had such an such an interesting structure and such a challenging structure because you had the idea of time travel. How does that work? Is it congruent? Are they making the stuff connect?
Yeah.
So for me, it was a more, I know this is a weird word to use, but it's a more of a challenging film than Ferris Bueller because Ferris Bueller is just a fun lark and it's a good thing and it touches on issues that you went through when you were in high school.
Yeah.
But like Back to the Future is something more.
Okay. I mean,
in my mind.
Well, I get the existential argument.
Right.
And it like what is real, what isn't real?
Right.
Do my actions have outcomes in the future?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And the construct of that.
Yeah.
I guess I just never really thought of it in that through that guise. I guess it does have it. I just to me, it's always just been a fun movie, and it's got that.
Right.
It creates a world. It sticks to the rules it creates, which is nice. Doesn't violate them.
I called up two of my friends last night, and I know one of them is a huge fan of Back to the Future. I said, "What are you guys doing tonight? I got to watch this because I had to do a Thunderdome. I want to watch this." I was saying, if you guys have time, I'll come over and we'll watch it. Both of them were free, so I just went over to the Mike's house with Shannon and I, and he rented it on iTunes, and we watched it. And it was so much fun to revisit that film because I haven't seen it in a couple years.
Okay,
so to revisit it was so much fun, and you can look at the pacing. It is a fantastic film. There's almost not a waste of a scene, and it's a 2-hour movie. I always thought it was an hour and 40 minutes. It's 2 hours, and it barrels through for 2 hours. It barrels through moments and situations. The exposition is definitely done, and there's not like it doesn't feel, and it doesn't like people are overacting their nuts off, Christopher Lloyd and Crispin Glover, but it's so believable that it's not a problem. At least for me.
It's believable in that you're building a movie around time travel.
Yes.
So your suspension of disbelief is already pretty great.
That's true.
So why not populate it with, a stereotypical Billy.
Yeah.
A bully, rather.
A
Billy.
right.
That's the fucking amped up. It's like the squared version, the Billy. The bully. I mean, he's great.
Yeah.
He's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, Biff is great.
Just one of the great villains. You hate him. As soon as you see him, you fucking hate him. You want to punch him. He's such a smug prick.
Yep.
And it's just because he's bigger than him. That's all he's got at that time. So he's going to hold that power over those lesser than him. Just a punk.
Yeah.
Just a fucking punk.
And the delivery is so bullyish. Yeah.
But Glover, what a choice.
Right?
What a choice.
Yeah.
Especially when you look at the full scope of his work.
Yeah.
And this one it's still him.
Yeah.
But he's perfect in this like feeble, but not quite feeble. There's a lion underneath there. Right. He always kind of carries that. He carries that little edge of this guy could snap. This guy could do something. It's a great call. It's great casting.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And he's so at times it's not in a way that he's like, you could make the argument when you've seen this in other movies that somebody else is in another movie. Like they're in this movie, but they're like acting for some other movie. But Crispin is so out there as a guy. I mean, that kind of shit is so weird.
Just his whole body pitching as he's laughing, like it just got him to such a degree.
Right.
But it's great. The awkwardness in everything that character does.
Yes.
It makes sense.
The talking, the writing about his science fiction stories that he's writing, the way he tries to like talk to "You're my density" when he tries to talk to Leah Thompson, and he has this like he does this. Like, everything is over the top, but he's so believable doing it that it doesn't feel over the top.
Yeah.
And there's rare actors that can get away with like Shatner gets away with that. And nobody cares.
We all, but now we've seen Shatner for so long that we know it's Shatner doing Shatner.
Right. And you accept it.
Whereas Glover just seems like that. No, it's not.
No.
Like Shatner is playing the part now of Shatner on some level.
Gotcha.
Whereas I think that's just him.
Yeah.
The weirdness, the quirkiness, the whatever. At least that's all he's presented to us, to the public. But
it
seems pretty true at this point. He's been pulling the shit off for 30 years.
It's true.
So you got to assume.
He shows up in the weirdest places too, man. Like you think he's the super serious weird guy, and then he'll show up in Hot Tub Time Machine about with this whole storyline about his arm getting cut off. It's so brilliant. It's so random and brilliant.
Well, the sign I think of a good movie is, which it happened in this movie, which is funny, but I can't recast anybody. There's nobody I would change.
That's a great point, man.
In and out of the film because they all work so perfectly in their parts.
Yeah.
And I was just making reference to the Stoltz.
Yeah.
I can't even fathom Stoltz.
2 weeks of shooting with
and
Stoltz.
they're just like, this isn't working.
Yeah.
Nothing against you. It's just we're going for something else.
Have you seen any of those clips of Stoltz?
I've seen like 5 seconds of like,
Yeah.
But that's about it.
The scene at the diner with his dad I think it's on YouTube. And you're like, this is a whole nother film. Like, it's a way more serious film.
Because that's what Stoltz can do outside of Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Where it's serious, but there's mostly comedy. I mean, that's the comedy in the film.
Right.
But I know, Stoltz, it's just... But now you pop in Mike Fox, who's at the height of his Mike Foxness.
Yeah,
I mean, he's just
Family
crushing
Ties
it.
And stuff. Yeah,
Family Ties, but at the same time, he's had a couple of movies. They've done okay.
Good, bright. Teen Wolf, Secret of My Success.
Yeah, Secret of My Success, which I just secretly love that movie.
I love that damn movie. That should be a movie we do. Let's talk about.
I got no problem. The problem is, I don't know how many people agree with this because it's an awful movie, but I fucking love it.
It's great.
Somehow I believe this plucky Mike Fox pulled this bullshit off.
Absolutely.
This horse
Helen
shit.
Slater was never more beautiful than she is in that movie.
That's true.
Never more beautiful.
That was a little Mike Fox love for you. But the casting is just like, oh, you pop him in and just like, yeah, it's comedy, but you still feel the heart.
Yes.
Which he delivers so well.
Absolutely, man.
I know.
Well, and you're right. He's at the heart of his powers, and he's playing this guy who thinks he's cool, this kid who's trying to be cool. He's like, plays guitar. You know, he's in his crappy family that's like underachievers, all of them, you know, including Leah Thompson to a degree because she settled for this guy, you know, for whatever reason. And we hear the story. That's what's so fascinating about the film. We hear everything we're about to see is laid out to us in conversation in natural moments, you know, like everything before he goes back in time to 1955. We know they met when her dad hit him with the car.
Yeah.
We know all the stuff that went on with Biff. We know all the stuff that we know all this stuff before we go back there, so that when it starts to happen, and it's happening to Michael J. Fox instead, it's so interesting to see how they're going to make it work, right? And then, brother, it's the 80s, right? We were just happier in the 80s. I really believe this. And B, the idea that you could have a plot line where the mother is trying to sleep with her son and it's innocent.
It is innocent. It is innocent the whole time.
Yeah.
But the point you just brought up of, they told you the story
right
before they showed you the story, and you were still mesmerized by I know where this is going.
Yeah.
And I am captivated the entire time. Still am to this day.
Yeah.
It really holds up.
There was not a moment where I turned away from the screen and looked at my phone. I just was enjoying it.
Okay.
It's so much fun, and you're right. And I think this is the brilliance about the movie, having the story at the beginning laid out in conversation between the characters. You had like a tent pole or an anchor or a foundation from which to go back to the future and see, oh my God, all this is supposed to happen.
Yeah.
How are they going to make it happen? You know, what are the new and inventive or interesting ways and plot devices and obstacles and challenges?
But the way they set it up too is great because they're all around that dinner table eating a shitty meal,
which is very natural.
And it's just like the kids are, yes, we know the fucking story.
Right.
We've heard this fucking story. Jesus Christ, you guys have another goddamn story. Just the disgust that you build up with somebody when you've been with them for 17 years.
Right.
Just like, listen, I love you, but Jesus, I can't. I don't know how dad or mom puts up with this from the other one. This is impressive.
And she's drinking her liquor. He's doing the reports for Biff. So he doesn't.
Yeah.
So Biff doesn't get fired, which repeats itself when they go back in time. He's doing Biff's homework for him. So this has been a pattern that's been repeating.
I know,
and it's such great work from everyone in the film. And you're right, Thomas Wilson is a great Biff. My God,
Tom Wilson is
he's so good, man.
And he's such a nice guy.
That's what everybody says
in real life.
Yeah,
and just wow, you've played a quintessential villain. I mean, you especially between the first one and the third one.
Yeah,
I think we all like to forget about the second one. The first one and the third one. I mean, he is stellar.
Yeah.
Between the two, I love and he's perfect for the Old West.
Yeah,
I don't know where he boom.
The Old West.
Yeah, I believe you as this in the Old West. This is great.
And
that's a Thunderdome for a different day.
Oh, that's right. We should do the third part of a trilogy versus Back to the Future 3.
That versus something else.
Absolutely.
But it will not be next week's because we're not announcing next week's right now.
Not right now.
No.
We already
got that topic out in the open.
That's true.
You guys are hearing this. So voting closes at noon today. So if you're hearing this before noon Pacific Standard Time on Friday,
on it.
Get on the vote. A ton of votes so far.
We already know which. Right? Was can we say it? We say it. Yeah. The Raiders.
Raiders versus Last Crusade.
Right.
And it is last I saw as we're recording this. It's pretty much neck and neck.
Yeah. A friend was like, "Oh no, it's Raiders the whole way," and I was like, "No, take a look."
Yeah.
And he was like so surprised.
It's neck and neck.
Yeah. I asked my two friends last night, which would you want? And they both said Crusade. Because the film is more
Well,
the series is
we
more
shouldn't talk about it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to
It's
influence.
next week's show.
I apologize.
Yeah.
Anyway, so did you notice like all the different actors that are in this film? Like you have Billy Zane is one of the bullies. Casey Shamasco.
Really?
Yeah, Billy Zane is one of the bullies. I couldn't believe it. And Casey Shamasco.
I cannot even
from
visualize him.
Young Guns. Yeah, he's just kind of sneering in the back. He doesn't have any lines. He's just sneering in the back.
All right.
And Casey Shamasco's in it with the 3D glasses. He's the kid from Young Guns, the pugilist. Right, and then you have obviously Leah Thompson, Chris McGlove. We met Michael J. Fox, the kid that played Jimmy Olsen, the actor that played Jimmy Olsen in the Superman movies. He's their brother, and the heavy-set girl is the sister. She was in Bosom Buddies with Tom Hanks and Peter Scolari. She was Scolari's.
Never seen it. Yeah, I just know about its existence. I've never seen it.
Oh, you never seen the sitcom?
No.
Right on. Okay.
But yeah, it's just what do they have? 2 seasons? It's one of those
2 seasons.
It's Tom Hanks trivia to me. That's all what it's always been.
Fair point.
Got to start with Peter Scolari on Bosom Buddies.
Yeah.
A crazy zany. They dress as women to live in a women's apartment complex.
Yes,
because it's cheaper and nicer.
Right, it's cheaper. And then they work at a job, so they have to kind of these. Yeah, exactly.
And they work as men in the real world.
They work as men in the real world,
and then have to change it to become women.
Right?
This thing only got 2 seasons.
Meanwhile, they have crushes on the 2 women, on 2 of the women living in the.
Well, how could you not?
Right.
How could you not?
And they have to listen to them. Yeah, it's so fun. Anyway,
it's so funny. Okay, I'll take your word for it.
What was it like for you to as you're preparing to do this podcast? What were you thinking about that you enjoyed it? Like, what was it that you enjoyed the most about the film? Like, what is it? Is it?
There's no singularity. It's the overall It has the amazing ability to. It harkens me back to when the first time I saw it.
Yeah.
But I've seen it so much over the years that I don't know. I kind of grew with the movie a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's one of those I will watch more than likely to the end. The day I die.
Right.
It'll just be on like, oh shit, that's on. I haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot. They changed it from 2 pines to 1 pine.
Yeah.
He hits the pine.
Right.
Yeah. Somebody pointed that out to me. After I had seen it, I don't know how many times.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm an idiot. That shit happens. What are you gonna do?
But everything that gets mentioned gets played out. You know how Christopher Lloyd mentions Mr. Peabody and the Pines. Like, he just mentions it as an aside when he steps out of the car.
You know what's weird? This is the first time we talked about Chris Lloyd.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't even talked about it yet.
Yes, Christopher Lloyd.
Arguably the best part of the movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
As the mad scientist.
Great combo of mad scientist, but also a very sweet guy.
Yeah.
Like a very sweet guy.
A nice guy that...
Yes.
Maybe he shouldn't have access to this kind of technology.
Well, if the flux capacitor was the first thing he's ever invented that actually worked, that should tell you he's been doing this for how long? I mean, in the 50s, he's an inventor.
But at the same time, he failed at so many other things that he got time travel right. I don't.
It kind of balances it out.
Well, no. In that, I don't know if I trust the guy that screwed up. I don't know how many times on simple things that managed to luck into time travel.
I agree with that.
In charge of time travel. I don't know who should be in charge of that rather. But
yeah, certainly
maybe
not Christopher Lloyd.
Maybe not. Especially if that's his outfit choice at the end of the movie. You came back from the future, and this is what you're wearing. I don't know about that. I don't know if this is the future I want to live in.
Do you remember at the end of the movie? Do you remember when you saw it that it always said "to be continued"? I didn't remember that it said "to be continued" at the end.
No, I think they might have changed that for later release or something.
Okay, because on the iTunes one we saw last night, it did not say "to be continued" at the end, and my friend who had swore it said "to be continued" at the end, so he was surprised by it. But I didn't remember it saying that, so I don't know.
I can visualize both, so I think I've seen both. But I could just be lying to myself.
What's great about Doc Brown's character is Doc Brown is the logic in the film. Like, he's like, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to make, like, if it isn't Doc Brown forcing the narrative, Marty has no idea what to do. Like, he's back in 1955.
Yeah,
because he escaped from apparently the Libyan nationalists who are just roaming around America in VW bugs,
and they gave him weapons grade. Is it plutonium?
Plutonium, yeah.
Okay. How do they have access to weapons grade plutonium?
Well, I love the idea that they hired Doc Brown to build them a bomb, and this is just a joke. in 1985. In 2016, you could not get away with this.
Oh no, that gets
ISIS
written out.
And everything, people would go crazy.
Yeah, well, because that's to them it was farcical.
Yes,
it's a joke. It's
right.
The equivalent of Dr. Strangelove. I'll ride the bomb to its destination. It's like it's absurdist. Even that wasn't as far removed as like this is. This is like, oh, that's so no one's going to use those things.
Yeah,
we got to keep it out of these guys' hands for this reason. Maybe some government spook stepped in and be like, I want you to write this in.
Right.
That these guys are capable of this.
Libyan nationals.
Yeah. So it helps us on propaganda.
Right. I love that it was Jose and Pedro, and I can say that because I'm Latino, who were playing the Libyan nationalists. It was ridiculous.
Oh, really?
It was so obviously Latinos.
I got to rewatch that.
Insane.
I don't think I've ever just sat and racially critiqued an actor like that. Did you know going in?
Well, I've been offered Arab and Middle Eastern parts all the time.
I do it
to me.
I do it to like.
Oh no, I didn't know going in. I was just like watching it this time. Yeah.
Okay. I I've had friends move here. And I'm like, dude, you're great. If you go out for commercials because you pass for Latino, you pass for Middle Eastern, you pass for this. You go Italian maybe if you want to go like. You got options.
Yep.
You got options, and you could still go as white.
It's always good to have options.
Yeah, as long as you got niches, then you're good to go.
I was surprised at the amount of Star Wars references in the film, which I think was interesting because Spielberg produced it, and obviously he was friends with Lucas and all that kind of jazz. Like when Marty is confronting Doc Brown after he's landed and he's in his house, he says to him, "You're my only hope." And
okay,
yeah, and when
the Darth Vader-esque,
from the planet Vulcan, which is a brilliant combination of both. But it's just really smart the way that he uses a Walkman to blast his ears and go nuts, and then all of a sudden it just takes a weird guy showing up in an outfit like the hazmat suit or whatever he was wearing.
It's a full hazmat suit with a respirator, and it's obscuring his face. And think about it. He's only seen like sci-fi comic books that have those types of characters, and to see one in front of you, holy shit.
Yeah.
That thing is alive, and I don't know what a Walkman is. This is fucking crazy.
True, but the red flag is like, you need to ask the girl out to the dance. That's what the guy from the other world wants you to know. It just seems like a weird thing, but it works within the charm of the film. I think that's the number one thing to describe the film as charm.
Maybe that's why Crispin Glover, his character, is so on edge the whole movie, is because he thinks he's been visited by an alien to motivate him to go do this. So it kind of sets him off, sets him on a path.
He has to really do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's funny because that's what's so great about what's so interesting about the film to go back and watch, especially when I watched it last night. I was like, it's amazing the things that they reference, and they just get away with it because the film is charming and innocent in its portrayal. And I'm leading to what I'm trying to say is like the Libyan nationalist stuff, the mom
stuff with the mom,
and then then you have Biff essentially trying to rape his mom in that car. He is trying to rape her, and Leah Thompson's face when she is saying to George, "Save me, like help me," that's a woman in like beyond it's beyond. It's scary.
It's a person.
Yes,
that is like when you see that person in that state. I don't give a shit what sex you are. You need help.
Yeah,
in your mind's eye, that's the only thing that's going to get you out of this situation. Yeah. Once again, I couldn't recast a single. Individual. They're all so perfect. Even like I don't know the actor's name. Hopefully you can pull it. Bald guy that's the principal.
Oh no, I don't know his name, but I know him. He was in Top Gun and everything like that. Yeah,
he was in a million, just a stern, but you could tell he's doing it from a good place.
Yeah, of course.
As stern as he is, he's just go to class, get there on time, quit fucking slacking off.
You're a slacker, McFly.
Yeah.
But after the funny thing that occurred to me as I was watching it, like he almost rapes her in the car.
Yep.
But yet in that timeline, when Marty goes back into the future, they're okay with him being the guy that waxes their car. They're just fine with it. He tried to rape me, but that's all right. He's got a business.
Well,
let's keep him around. And it was like, what?
How far into the future is it at that point? 20 years? Once they go back? 30 years? Well, no. I'm just saying like this. Since that date, though, Biff has been getting neutered by McFly the whole time for 30 years. So at this point, he's just a lapdog. Like he's not going to do anything. He's not going to bite his master. He's like what's his name on Game of Thrones?
Oh yeah, Reek.
Yeah, Reek. Yeah. Just he's not going to do anything to you at this point. You've neutered him.
I just thought that.
I know what you mean. But if you're going to be true to him, be like, all right, no. He has reevaluated his place and he has subjected himself to this for 30 years. Yeah.
But it's funny because it tells you like what is the message of the movie. Is the message of the movie like fight for Don't get pushed around. Fight for your piece. Even like when Goldie
stand up for yourself.
Stand up for yourself. I guess is the message of the movie because apparently it leads to success. Because I mean the kids are lawyers. He's going to the office. She's high end, beating off two guys. We're in the when we first see them presented. One dude's like at McDonald's, and the girl can't find a date to save her life. So it's an amazing turn of events, you know.
Well, power of positive thinking and action. I don't know what to tell you. Stand up for yourself. Take charge of your life.
It's the secret, basically.
Tony Robbins ghost wrote half the movie. Came in, he doctored it, and he's giving you the secret right there.
Personal power.
Uh-huh.
A lot of the scenes that I really enjoy that I forgot the charming. Like the whole skate scene is great when he takes the skate off the kid and ride around on the skateboard.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
the kid's looking at it like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know that shit was possible.
The stuff with Goldie with becoming the mayor. He's like, you know,
when he's sweeping up, mayor. I like the sound of that. I know, it's a great little scene to think, 30 years later.
Right.
Yeah, that dream is possible.
And the guy says to him, his boss says to him, a colored mayor. That'll be the day. We're just going to talk about it. Like, it's no big deal. I love that.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess that would be accurate for the time.
Yeah, so I'm saying it was charming at the time because it's not delivered in a way that's
geographically. Where's that set? Do you know?
I think it's California.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Because on the address label it says something California. I can't remember the city because it was so fast, but it says it there on California. So
good eye.
Oh, yeah. Listen,
cyber sleuth over here, or movie sleuth rather.
After that Schmoedown loss, every goddamn movie I watch now, I have a Hawkeyes on there. So anyway, let's not get into that. Anyway, I feel like I'm talking too much. Go ahead.
Well, you saw it more recently than I did. So it's more visceral because your ability to recall and it draws me in, so it's fine.
Oh, okay.
The stuff that you've already spoken about, they're all classic things that I love in that movie.
Yeah.
All the skateboarding shit is fantastic.
Right.
Yeah, I loved that as a kid. I wanted to skateboard.
Yeah.
I skateboarded until the day I pulled a hamstring doing it. I was like, I'm done skateboarding. There was my last day of skateboarding. That was painful, and I don't ever want to do that again.
I am retired.
Yeah, I was a young kid, but I knew this just wasn't my game. So I moved on. I play other sports.
Yeah.
But it's still at the same time, like all the stupid shit when I was younger, like in the second one with the hoverboards.
Yeah.
There was a rumor going around my school. I don't know. I think that it was like 6th grade when that came out for me, or 7th grade or something. That, or whatever year. Anyway, that the hoverboards were real and the military had them. And it'd be like 4 or 5 years before they would allow the public the technology. That way they could, go a couple generations further. So what they were giving away was nothing compared to what they had. And enough of us believe and be like, fuck yeah, dude, hoverboards in like 5 years.
I could see that.
Yeah, I'm fucking 10 or 11. You know what I mean? I'm an idiot. So you tell me all kinds of things. The world's still new to me.
Yeah,
fuck, hoverboard, that's real? I believe you. You said CIA. Damn. So I've seen enough movies. I know that's legit. I have no fucking clue. Just an idiot.
Well, what do you think about the Holden? And you get to the Enchantment Under the Sea sequence so quickly in the film, and it's so interesting how quickly you get there. And
how much do you love the song "Johnny Be Good"?
Oh, I love that.
Don't you just absolutely love that song?
Absolutely,
because of that movie. I like the Chuck Berry. I heard it, but now I have much more of an attachment to it to this day because of it.
And it's absolutely not Michael J. Fox singing. It was some guy named Martin Campbell, I think his name was. I looked it up last night on my phone. I was like, but because it's so that voice is not coming out of Michael J. Fox. It is so beyond what Michael J. Fox can sing as a high school kid. It was hilarious to me.
Well, he hits such confidence in the way he's singing. You're like, well, and he took a different timbre of voice.
Yes,
it amps up just a tiny little bit and be like, Mike's a little squeakier than this.
That's right.
He doesn't really power out. A lyric, unless I don't know, maybe because I know he plays guitar.
Yeah.
So more than likely that was him. Actually, all the close-ups and whatnot were still probably him. Yeah. But I don't know how well he can sing. So I think they did the right thing.
Yeah. No, of course, I'm sure they did the right thing.
And I love the stupid. Why do we even need to put this in? But the what was it? Chuck, it's your cousin Marvin. You gotta hear this, and just puts the phone up, and Chuck Berry. So basically, they're saying Chuck Berry plagiarized this song, and this is where it came from.
He took it from a white kid.
Although I don't know if Chuck Berry wrote that song. That might be somebody else's.
Yeah. I think so.
What?
I would imagine so.
That
Chuck
what?
Berry wrote Johnny Be Good? I would imagine
I don't think so.
Yeah?
I'll look it up right now.
Okay.
Keep going. Tell me what else you love in it, and I'll look that up.
In Chairman of the Sea, I love the sequence when he does finally stand up for himself, because initially you don't think it's going to happen because he tries to punch him, and he grabs his wrist and twists it, so you think George is down for the count. But it's when he pushes her that George really embraces his anger.
Yeah.
And even then, they throw this little thing in, which I thought was really brilliant, because just when you think there's going to be a happy ending, it's a real smart thing to throw in, just a small little obstacle.
You are correct.
Yeah, he did?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Because the line is, that sound you've been looking for? Here it is. So it seems like it was crediting him with creating it.
I thought that was a song that he popularized that somebody else wrote. Kind of like the Whitney Houston, Dolly Parton, I Will Always Love You kind of thing. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was out a long time ago, but for whatever reason, this one just kind of...
Or Hound Dog, which had already been out by a black singer, a black female, large singer, who had sang that song. And then Elvis did.
You bring that up in my house like I don't know that shit? You're using an Elvis coaster, for Christ's sakes. So am I. There's two more right there.
I don't know your level of interest in Elvis. I know your wife's is off the charts.
It's relatively impossible not to pick up things like when you drop Hound Dog as a song, there's no other artist associated with any song.
True. That's a fair point.
That has Hound Dog in it. So I'm just saying, that's what, if you had chosen another one that has like a similar title of the way I keep screwing up Act of Valor and
Uncommon Valor.
Uncommon Valor. You get it close enough. It's two of the same thing. Might be different, but it's roughly the same. It's like how Disney comes out with a new slogan that means the same thing every year.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It is.
Amazing.
My wife had noticed that we were there one time, and I rattled off like 10 off the top of my head. And she's like, Jesus, they are all the same. And I'm like, yeah. And I wasn't even citing actual references. I was just making up, a year of a million smiles. But they would never go that low. Yeah. They always aim for much higher.
Of course.
It's wishes and shit like that.
Right.
But it's just banal. Like, it's the same crap every year, unless it's a diamond celebration or a...
Were you... did you like the idea with the black band, and then the guys tell them, the guy says spook, like Casey Shamasco says spook.
Really?
Yes. He says, be quiet, spook, this ain't your business, or something like that, or mind your business, spook. And I was like I just totally forgot that he says that.
That seems even a little edgy for 80s.
Right. But then four black guys get out of the car and then chase the two, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. I don't know. It's so funny. You see that movie in 55, and you have three black guys chasing three white kids. There's no way that would stand in any town in the South. So that's why it makes sense to me that it was in California. I could see that happening in California. It was always more progressive. But yeah, it's interesting stuff, man. It was such a fun movie to revisit again, especially after not seeing it for so long. And I thought,
I don't know the last time I sat down and watched the entire thing all the way through. Probably like 3 years.
Oh wow, yeah.
Maybe even longer, maybe 4. I mean, not to say that I haven't seen, It's Love Fest whenever that anniversary was.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
cropping up everywhere. So it was like, I'll go watch, these couple scenes or this or that. I mean, I've probably seen the movie over the past year, but in bits and pieces here, there.
Of course. If I hadn't seen Major League in 4 years, I'd still remember every single thing about it. So, yeah.
Yeah. Once you've seen a movie enough, it's like, trust me, I know that movie. I'm
all over it.
Yeah. They're just, it sticks in your craw.
Yeah, the score from Alison Silvestri was great. Richard Donner directing it was so nice.
The other nice thing about it is it's an 80s film, but it doesn't have any dated 80s bad, lazy, movie habits.
Right.
Like stupid montages or just characters that are over the top in other people's films actually fit this world.
Yeah.
I guess because they know where to tone it down. Everybody can't be crazy.
Right.
So Marty and the Leah Thompson, they're more normal.
Yeah.
And some of the other, people they kind of encounter, but at the same time, everybody else is a fucking loon.
Yeah.
It's yeah. But, I mean, a lot of 80s movies, whenever we recommend them, it's kind of one of those of, shit, I don't know if that's just I love it because I saw it.
Right.
And it came out in an era where that was just acceptable.
Yeah.
Like, I can't defend 10 minutes of this movie. I'm sorry, but it's still great to me, the overall thing. But, this 10, 15, or some of it hurts. It's like, oh, that's good 25, 30 minutes of this movie that is just...
Yeah, it's like people who are older than us try to talk to you about Breakfast at Tiffany's. I go, I get that you like the film.
Yeah.
To me, I can't get past the Mickey Rooney thing. I just can't.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That guy's a masterclass in subtlety every time he's on film, but especially this one.
It's such a fucking mistake.
He went method, full on.
Yeah.
Full on.
What method is that?
Yeah, it's fucking. He went and he embedded himself with like I don't know some Southern group.
Sure,
prone to wearing white, so to speak.
I think he went and studied at the Looney Tunes School of Japanese.
I've only seen
accents.
I've never watched that movie just because my introduction to it was all the clips of that.
Yeah,
and I was like, no, no, I can't watch this movie. I can't take it seriously.
Yeah,
just because this is too great, and the rest of it is trying to be normal around it.
My ex loved the film, and so we went to see it one night at the Egyptian or at the Arrow, one of those theaters. And I'd never seen it, right? I'd seen the clip you saw because I saw it in Dragon, Bruce Lee story. I was like, "Ooh, fuck, is that real?" And so I would read subsequently through the years. I would read reviews, and it would say like, "Except for the McRooney stuff," and I was like, "Oh, so it must be real." So when she brought it up, I was like, "Let's go, fuck it. Let me see what the movie is like without it," because so many women love that damn movie.
Yeah,
and I watched it. I was like, "Man, I just can't get past it." It's so
racist.
Fucking racist.
I mean, it's like, holy shit, how did this, this got greenlit? Did they tone that back?
Right.
Like, I would love to be a fly on the wall for that meeting because that's just, now you're hashing out what's racist and what's not, and that's great.
Yep.
Just to see a bunch of people that, oh my God, no one wants to be caught in this conversation, and just to watch this unfold in front of you and be like, guys, that's, one too many of this slur.
Right.
We got to cut that back to this. All right, fine.
Yeah.
Maybe the eyes and the teeth were even worse, and they filed them down a little bit.
Not to mention they took a white guy to play the part. There were freaking plenty of
but they were doing that left and right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? John Wayne played a Japanese samurai, did he not?
True.
Or a shogun or something.
Yeah.
No. No. Gave him a shitty little end mustache, then just hangs down, and no.
Well, Brando playing Zapata was ridiculous.
There's a history of it.
Yeah.
But they all tried to do it with some form of respect, whereas Mickey Rooney's was just, they're the yellow menace, and I'm going to I can't believe. That he signed up for it. Did he come in with the character going, this is what I want to do? Guys, bear with me. Trust me. Gold. Comedy gold.
But that's how much people loved him that it didn't kill him. It didn't kill his career in any way, shape, or form. It's pretty amazing. I was thinking about you the other night, speaking of this, because I was watching some old fucking film with Orson Welles where he plays Genghis Khan.
Really?
Yeah. And I can't remember the name of the film. Ben Johnson's in it, and I think it's Trevor Howard. But he plays Genghis Khan. And this massively large Wells on a horse with the fur
which doesn't
hat
make
and the
any
spike.
sense. The man lived on a horse, so he'd have to be in decent to good shape.
Yes, of course.
At all times. You just have this tub of lard. But he's got the commanding voice.
He really does.
You got to give him that.
Yeah, you had to.
It's one of the best voices of all time.
He didn't even try to do an accent. He was just being himself with a little bit of
Look, he got to a certain point where he was nothing but himself. Of course. We've talked about him before and directed people to the clips on YouTube. Find them. They're great. If you're just new to this show, the Orson Welles drunk on set, just look it up. It's priceless.
We will sell no.
Parmesan. It's fucking great.
The peas is the best.
And I love that, the critics. You ever watch that? With Lovitz?
When
they would
God, I love that show.
Orson Welles
all the time.
It was so good.
They would destroy him
just
all
over the
time.
top, just completely stripping that man down to the most cartoon caricature.
Yeah. And I think that was LaMarche doing the voice because he did it for Pinky and the Brain, I think.
Probably.
Overall, I don't know what else can we say. I love the film.
Nothing. I love it. Thanks to everybody for voting.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ferris fans. This probably wasn't a fair fight.
Apologies.
Yeah, we try and line up a fair fight. That's what we're trying to do.
We really do. I thought there were enough of our audience that would enjoy something like Ferris a little more. So but it was still.
I knew going into it. Back to the Future is probably gonna run away with this.
Maybe we should have put it up against Bill and Ted.
What? Ferris?
Yeah.
Ferris
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future smokes it.
I don't know anything Back to the Future wouldn't have smoked.
Oh, well, I mean, we can put it up against things, and those things would smoke it.
Smoke Back to the Future?
Yeah. Empire.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's not even a question. My guess is that would be 95.5, percentage-wise. You could do this all day long. You can always top. You can always top.
Right,
Eventually, you do hit okay, now it's just personal preference.
I think that's a whole nother show. You just come up with a whole nother show we can do.
What's that? What's better than this? That's great.
You know what's great?
Yeah.
Let's keep doing more shows, man.
What Borscht Milk comic do we have to pay off? What do we? $50 for your idea. That's what we're spending here. Vaudevillian acts for the podcast age.
That's better than this.
Oh, baby. Yes, I'm running with this. I see an outfit now.
Totally.
Oh, this is great.
Next week on What's Better Than This. It reminds me of King Candy, that voice from Wreck-It Ralph.
Oh, yeah. That's what he's doing.
It basically is.
It is. Borscht Belt, Jewish comic. Just do that. Jackie Mason is their king, basically kind of guy.
I used to love him. All right, yeah, thanks. What Matt said, thanks everybody for voting as well, and we really appreciate the comments. And so many people are voting now, which is really great. Which means like the show is kind of getting its own little niche amongst our networks. So we really appreciate it.
Yeah, and we hope you appreciate what we did for you on the 1 year show, which came out yesterday.
Yeah, it was a lot of work.
It was a shit ton of work. We hope you enjoy that.
Yes.
And please get your vote in for next week. Oh, yeah, coming up. So next week there will be a Thunderdome, but the week after there will not.
Right.
I'm basically going out of town for 2 weeks, so we're going to record some episodes in advance and then, take a step back from each other.
And let's be honest, because we've been recording a lot lately, and let's just say we're both kind of getting a little burnt out, and so we need a little bit of a break, and it seems kind of the right time.
And we both have a million things going on.
Yeah.
And just like, you know what? This kind of works out kind of nicely.
Yeah. And just to drop a little kernel in your ears, Matt and I are considering finding a producer for the show.
Yeah.
We can't afford to pay anybody, but if you're a fan of ours and you've produced shows and you'd like to be and you don't even have to live in LA, if you'd like to be our producer, we might we're exploring it. We're not saying yes or no, but you could send your resume.
I'll float the idea.
Okay.
You need payments.
What?
Handies could be exchanged. You know what I mean? It's a look the other way.
That's you saying it. I'm not giving no handies.
I, just as you do.
I'll buy him a Taco Bell
I speak
meal
for the show just as you do.
Yes, thank you. Wait a minute.
The beautiful. You just agreed. That's accepted terms. That's a contract, my friend. And I believe as soon as we publish this, that's notarized by the public.
I think the wait a minute is not the contract.
But it was agreement before.
Oh, my God. It was the party, the first part.
You already spit in your hand and shook at that point.
Wait, what?
There's no backsies. You can't back out of this deal.
I hate that part of the deal, the no backsies. It's always in fine print right at the bottom.
It's a sub clause. It's always buried deep, but it's in there.
This reminds me of that Marx Brothers bit when they're doing the contract in Night of the Opera.
Oh.
Or the party, the first part, the party, the second part. I don't like the party.
It's keep going and going and going into legalese. It just makes no sense.
Just a signature at the end.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So please follow us or like us on Facebook at The Top 10.
Yeah, it's the only place you can vote for this.
Yes, podcast. And at Top 10 Show on Twitter, at Top 10 Podcast on Instagram. Follow Matt at Matt Nost. Follow me at The Roca Says. Yeah. I think that's everything we got, right?
That's all we got. Thanks for listening.